Cloud Atlas. I don't know how I feel about this one. Cloud Atlas is a film directed by the Wachowskis and Tom Tykwer. Interesting name. It tells the story, well, 9 to 15 stories, about a bunch of different people in different time periods that do different things and how they're all related to one another. It makes big statements about how everything in life has a specific purpose and is carried with you through death and then into new lives. Yeah. I'd like to explain to you what the plot is about, but there's so many different plots that I'm not even going to bother. There's like 15 different plots in this movie, and so lots of different things happen. There is no one plot, so reviews have come out over the past couple weeks about this movie, and most reviews are either really negative or really positive, and I didn't know what to think about this movie going in. I went into this movie not excited to see it because of the reviews, and I just didn't know what to expect, and I knew it was going to be confusing. I knew that much, and I wasn't excited about going to see this movie, but I was interested in seeing this movie. I wanted to know what it was about. I'm definitely in the middle about this movie. I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't love it either. I'm going to talk about the good things first. This was a beautiful looking film. It was really well directed. All the technical aspects of this film were really good. I liked watching it. It looked really, really good. There's some really great cinematography in this movie. There's one shot in the trailer where the car flies off the bridge and like the camera just like, that was really neat. There were some really interesting shots in this movie and it was fun to look at. Also, the acting was really great all around. I think everybody did a really fantastic job. I liked everybody that was in this movie, especially like Hugo Weaving. I love seeing him, except for as a female. That was that was creepy. That was frightening. Especially Ben Whishaw. He was excellent in this movie. I really enjoyed his role. His roles. Everything with him was really interesting. And Tom Hanks did a really great job. I mean, everybody was good. Another thing that this movie has going for it was a 3-hour movie, but I was thoroughly engaged most of the time. There wasn't a lot of downtime in this movie. I've heard lots of complaints about how slow and boring this film was, but I really was engaged for most of it, so I had no complaints about that at all. I enjoyed watching this movie for all 3 hours. I had to get up to go to the restroom at one point, and I didn't want to leave because I was thoroughly engaged in what was happening. So the movie did a really good job on keeping me interested. I mean, I don't know if it's going to entertain everybody as much as it did me, but I thought it was interesting. Now the bad things. This movie made no sense at all. I understood what was going on in each plotline. I understood they were fairly straightforward, but the idea of like these things all being connected didn't make any sense. You know, each actor plays like 9 to 10 different roles in this movie, right? Something crazy like that. Not 9, but a high number of roles. And I don't know why. The entire film is about how our lives are all connected in some way, but none of these plot lines had anything to do with each other other than just having same actors in it. I understood the separate plot lines. I understood them. I think they were all really interesting and good, but they had nothing to do with each other. They take place in separate times, hundreds of years from each other. They just had nothing to do with each other, and I didn't get that, because the whole movie is about how they have something to do with each other. So I didn't understand that. I didn't get it at all. Certain characters were really consistent. Like, you've got Hugo Weaving's character that's always a bad guy. But then you had, like, Tom Hanks, who's supposed to be the good guy of the movie, also plays a bad guy in one of the roles. I didn't get that. It just didn't really make sense to me. And then there were certain characters that were in all of them, and then certain characters that were in some of the plot lines that weren't in others. And that didn't make sense to me either. It's like, so he's only important in these two? I didn't quite understand that. The other problem I had with the idea of, you know, having another life is the fact that everything that happened had no consequence because of that. The characters thought that they were just going to have another life, so what's the point of living? You know, and so like all of the intense sequences weren't as intense because they didn't really matter in the long run. And I wasn't a fan of that because it just kind of took me out of the movie. It was like, if he dies here, it doesn't matter. So, also the talkie-talkie language of the future is ridiculous. Why did you make that decision to have them speak the true? Not a fan of that. I definitely had some issues with the overall theme of the movie because you've got all these different plot lines that are really interesting and really good. I enjoyed every plot line. There were some that were weaker than others, but I enjoyed all of them. I liked all of the characters, all of their roles. But the overall theme of the movie didn't make any sense, and so it was like, why? It's just 9 different movies is all it is, and they're all good, but you're trying to make a connection, and I didn't get it. I might have just completely misunderstood it, but I didn't get it. My overall opinion of this movie is definitely in the middle. I loved watching this movie. I really enjoyed watching it. It was visually beautiful. I was really engaged. I liked all the characters, but in the end, it didn't have any relevance. It didn't make any sense, and so I don't know what to say about this movie. I really liked watching it. But why did I watch it? There's no point. The whole point of the movie is to tie together all of these plot lines, and it didn't, and it left me just kind of going, what? I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't love it. I loved things about it, but as a whole, it's lacking. Now, would I recommend this movie? If you've got 3 hours and you're willing to spend the money and you love Tom Hanks or anybody in the cast, I definitely would recommend this movie to you. I can't guarantee that you're going to like it. And people are divided in 2 over this film. People hate it or they love it. So I can't say if you're going to like it. This one's really up to you guys. If you've got the time to go sit through a 3-hour movie, go check it out. I mean, it's not bad. It's definitely not a bad movie. But it did have its problems. Hope that helps. Comment below this video and let me know what you think of Cloud Atlas. Have you seen it already? Are you gonna go see it? And what are your thoughts on it? Especially if you have seen the movie. Comment below. I'd like to talk about it with you guys because this is one that's worth talking about. Anyways, if you like this review, hit like below and then subscribe to my channel. I don't know where the subscribe button is nowadays, but go find that and subscribe to my channel and then go check out all my other reviews. Thanks so much for watching.